Hey, this is Coach Mac from Authority Football. Let's talk about how to throw the wheel route. Now, the wheel route is a phenomenal route. It works at all levels. It's actually especially dangerous at the young levels and really can be easy to implement. And let's talk about what it is and why it works. So it has a few different names sometimes. So let's get clear on some language. You might hear it called a wheel route. You might hear it called a chair route. You might hear it called an out and up. And that just depends on the nuances of the way it's going to be run, which I'll talk about on the left here in just a minute. But all these are pretty synonymous. The details will only matter to the quarterback with the footwork, and it's pretty much always the same. It's going to be the same read. It's the same advantage. The footwork will change only depending on one of the ways that we run this. And the idea here, let's look at the right first. The idea is we want to exploit a part of the field that's right over here. It's the same part of the field we would exploit with a fade route. We're just doing it with a different person and creating a little bit different advantage, because the advantage we're creating is ultimately this one right here, which is a personnel mismatch and a leverage mismatch with an inside receiver on a linebacker, and sometimes even worse. It might be on a defensive end dropping into coverage or something. So it's really advantageous to run that. So that's the advantage. We're taking an inside receiver and we're putting them on an outside, hole in the defense. I don't like to get into reads much on this. We just want to talk about the route itself. But this is really great in combination, where we would actually read the corner and we would run something. We'd run something inside with him. Maybe it's a post. Maybe it's a slant. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. That's not what we're talking about. But notice how if he comes inside at all, we're working right off of that and we're getting the route that we want down that sideline. So that's it. Okay. Now let's talk about the few ways that you might run this if it's a wheel or a chair or an out and up or whatever. The few ways we might run this are going to be these differences here on the left. So the first one, the inside most route, is the skinniest, right? And really this is a really skinny vertical type of quote unquote wheel route where there's not a lot of outside break. It's really just like running a fade route from this inside position over here. Okay, so that's the skinniest, fastest wheel you can run. Another way to run that is with a little bit more bend. So we're going to run that wider, but we're never going to turn our shoulders. We're never going to look back at the ball, to our outside shoulder. We're always just going to work out and then speed off down the sideline. And so that's the second one, and that takes a little longer to develop because there's more lateral movement. And the third one is really a pure chair or out and up, and this is an actual double move where we are selling and looking on the out route and then working it up the field, which is why it's going to go down the field with less distance because we're really baiting that double move. Okay, so depending on the way that we're going to run that, will determine what the footwork is. So let's talk about that very quickly. The footwork, now this is either a quick game with a double move, like number 3 and possibly number 2, or it's a pure 5-step drop, right? And it really just depends on which one of those. So let's talk about the quick game double move, which is the way I see most coaches want to run it. They want to run it more like a double move. What we're going to do is we're going to run a 3-step, but it's not ready. The cookies aren't baked by 3 steps. So we're going to 3-step and then what we call rock and plant, or a rock and punch sometimes. So 3-step, rock, plant. So 3-step, and this is where we don't teach a pump fake, but this is where a pump fake essentially would be happening, right? We call it a rock instead, where I rock from my trigger foot to my left foot. I shift my weight, but I never want to really move the ball. And that's going to let that time up, and anybody spying you is going to see the weight transfer of the throw. And then we're going to cross over plant and throw here. So it ends up being 3-step plus 2 steps. It's like a delayed 5-step. And we're going to really throw that on, the number 3 version of this and the second version of this. Those are where we're going to throw that double move. Now, if it's the skinny fast wheel, then it's really just a 5-step drop. Okay, so we want to get that out sooner because it's getting down the field sooner, and we're beating the defense faster. So that one's just going to be a pure 5-step. Right, and we teach this to throw 5-step on rhythm, hit the 5th step and let it rip. Don't hitch up on this because we're vertical, right? So it's a much faster route. Like I said, it's really just a fade route from the inside receiver. Okay, so that's the most important thing. The worst thing I see, the biggest mistake, is guys waiting for the route to actually clear and get into this open zone. And just period, that's a bad idea because once it gets open, it won't be open by the time the ball gets there. So guys get out of our range and then we slow them down. They have to come back for the ball, and we also give defenders a chance to catch back up. So we're giving the advantage we've earned, we're giving it back away. We don't want to do that. So know exactly which way you want it to go, 3-step rock and punch or just 5-step, and it's simple. Know that you've got a really great mismatch. You should always win, and as long as this dude doesn't bail and go sit on it, then you've got a completion with high chance for touchdown a whole lot of times. So that's it. Keep slinging. Keep scoring, keep leading, and we'll talk soon. This is Coach Mac with Authority Football. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Let us know how we can ever help. Take care.